The shuttle roared as it lit upon the lawn, blowing exhaust in all directions. The door to the small prefab home burst open, and a woman easily in her 70s stomped out.
"You sons of bitches better not have jacked up my Kranzathuthumers. Do you knuckle-dragging space jockeys know how damn hard it is to get them to grow in alkaline soil?" she shouted over the din of the now resting landing craft.
The shuttle's door cycled open, and 2 troopers and 1 officer ambled down the ramp. The immediate onslaught of abuse caught them unawares, and pushed them back a step as the old woman made a beeline for them.
"Lord almighty, do any of you have even half a brain between you? No, of course you don't. If you did, you wouldn't have joined up."
The old woman seemed to be getting on a roll now. "Ma'am," Lieutenant Feldman tried to interject. "Ma'am, if I might—"
"Oh, what the hell are you doing bringing rifles up to my front door? How do you know I'm not some roughneck campout? I could have had this whole place mined and covered with snipers' nests. Sweet Jesus, don't they teach anything at the academy these days? Or do they just let you walk right into enemy fire?"
"Roughnecks don't plant chrysanthemums, ma'am," Lieutenant Feldman said. This was so unexpected. The old woman stopped short and had to consider his answer. The verbal avalanche had finally fell into a blissful silence, even if only for a moment.
"They might,"
was all the old woman could offer as a response. "Ma'am, I'm Lieutenant Feldman. We're here to evacuate you. If you could grab any vital items, we need to be wheels up in 5 minutes.
"Evacuate? What the hell for, LT?"
The 2 troopers stifled a laugh as the old woman called out the lieutenant. "Ma'am, the war against the Vardal is not going well. All our forces are pulling back from this sector. You will be in Vardal control space within the next few days," the lieutenant said.
"Vardal? Hell, they're nothing but jumped up swamp critters. They can't hold territory worth a damn. No, you go on ahead and pull back. I'm staying."
With that, the old woman turned to go back in her small plastic and fiberglass house. "Ma'am, I'm afraid I must insist," the lieutenant called after her. "Corporal, please escort her into the shuttle." One of the troopers stepped forward, but the old woman wheeled on him faster than he thought possible, a gun in her hand, held directly between the corporal's eyes, where there was no armor or helmet.
"Son," the old woman said, "I've lived a life I'm not all that proud of most days, but I'll be goddamned if I let someone else live it for me. Now, I understand you boys got a job to do, but I ain't leaving. You delivered your message and I declined. Now get."
"Sir?" the corporal with the gun between his eyes asked. "Leave her," the lieutenant said. "Both of you, back on the shuttle." The corporal slowly backed away and marched into the shuttle with his compatriot. The lieutenant stayed a moment longer. "You know, once we pull out, we won't come back for you?" the lieutenant asked.
"I do," the old woman said.
"You'll be on your own, against the Vardal. No way to contact us and with no help coming."
"Yeah, that's one of my own means."
"Is there anyone you want me to contact? Any family I should alert?"
"No. I said my goodbyes a long time ago, LT. My kids didn't approve of the way I made my living, so when I retired, we went our separate ways. Husband's been dead 20 years now. Sister, too."
"Yes, ma'am. I understand. Well, good luck," the lieutenant said. He turned and walked back into the shuttle. It lifted off, damaging more chrysanthemums, and disappeared into the blue sky. 2 months later, another shuttle, clearly of different origin and crafted by a different culture, landed some distance away. The chrysanthemums had been replaced by a hearty breed of roses, prickly thorns and all. 2 beasts with slicked, greasy hair sauntered out of the shuttle. The ground quakes with their steps as they each weigh over 300 kilos. Their sharp teeth and beady eyes belied their cunning minds.
"I'd wondered when the hell you'd show up,"
the old woman said, as she walked out of her prefab. "Human," one of the beasts said through a mechanical translator on his chest. "You now property of Vardal. This our world."
"Uh-huh,"
the old woman said.
The beast stared at her. "You're too young."
She turned and walked back into her house. The 2 beasts looked at each other, then at the house. The beast with the translator turned and walked back to the shuttle. His partner followed. 3 months after that, another shuttle, more ornate than the last. Swirls of colour chased each other around the hull. 4 beasts exited this one and stood at attention, as a 5th beast, more richly dressed, strode past them. The well-dressed beast walked towards the old woman's hut. He stopped just before he made the rose bushes. The old woman was sitting in a chair in front of her door watching the procession. "You are in Vardal territory now, human," the well-dressed beast said through a smaller, more elegant translator. "You'll be taken prisoner, and this world will be colonized by us." The old woman looked the well-dressed beast up and down, judging him and finding him lacking.
You insult me. Your people disrespect my position.
The well-dressed beast stood there and watched for a moment. Then he turned and walked back into the shuttle. The guards fell in behind him, and soon the shuttle was but a memory. 6 months after that, an ornate gilded shuttle set down with barely a whisper at the edge of the valley where the old woman made her home. An honor guard of at least a dozen soldiers rushed out and stood at attention. An older but still sturdy beast proudly marched down the ramp and up to the old woman's home. He stopped at the rosebushes. "Madam," the older beast said with no translator, "you are in our sovereign territory. As such, you will be a guest of the Vardal until such time as we deem. This planet will become a hub of commerce, trade, art, and the Vardal way of life." The old woman thought for a moment. She stared at the older beast.
This is the third time your people have insulted me, Vardal. Is this how you treat guests? A shabby honor guard and some intermediate functionary? No, leave this place.
The older beast paused, then turned and walked away. The shuttle whispered off the valley floor. 1 year later, nearly 2 full years from the humans' visit, a grand shuttle broke through the clouds. 4 escort shuttles flanked it, above and below. Fighters flew air patrols for hundreds of kilometers in every direction. The escort shuttles landed first, with guards bawling out to them to prepare the way. Each soldier polished and burnished to within an inch of his life, all standing ramrod straight, looking as professional as they possibly could. The grand shuttle settled silently in the center of the formation as the fighters circled high overhead. The grand shuttle's ramp descended, and a beast stood at the top of the ramp. "Here now! A great doyen of the Vardal approaches! Make way for the heart of the Vardal!" The crier stepped aside, and an old grey beast slowly walked down the ramp. He made his way unaided across the small valley to the old woman's hut. He saw the rose bushes and paused to smell the sweet scent.
"You know," the old woman said, "you're the first one to actually smell them."
"Ah, well," the grey beast said. "Youth is always of a hurry."
"That they are."
"I suppose you know why I'm here?"
"The last 3 envoys you sent were disrespectful," the old woman said. "I should have shot the first one."
"Perhaps," the grey beast replied, "but then we would not be having this conversation."
"We'd only be having a different one. Your people put a lot of stock in respecting your elders. Since I didn't give in to those children you sent, they had to find someone of a similar stature, which is a pretty short list."
"Tell me, human woman, what is it you have done that entitles you to such respect? You have no servants in your house, you command no armies, you possess no great wealth, yet you count yourself my equal."
"All of that is true. I do have degrees in engineering and science, more than a few in fact. I worked for our military for all of my life. Some of those weapons that have been carving you up are my designs. I've likely killed more of your people than anyone."
"We have many weapons makers, yet none are my equal."
"I built this homestead on my own. Got those roses to grow after some jackasses fried my chrysanthemums. Been living off the land on an alien world for better than 10 years now."
"A life built by one's own hand is noble, but it is not equal to controlling the destiny of an entire race."
"You want to know why I think you're no better than me?"
"I have travelled long to hear that very answer."
"Because I'm the bad bitch that killed a doyen of the Vardal."
The explosion was visible across the entire electromagnetic spectrum. Earth forces in nearby sectors saw their sensors redline for several seconds, and many of them shut down to protect the sensitive equipment. Scientists were stunned as to just what was in that bomb, as even antimatter should not have been that terrible. The peace treaty signed the following week has held since then.